Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So don't mind my brows, but I blanked them out just for this tutorial and redid them in a much lighter shade, so that's why it looks a little weird. Don't mind that. So to start off this look, we're first going to be taping our eyes. I'm taking just 2 regular pieces of scotch tape and making sure to really aim this scotch tape right up towards the tail of our newly created brows. By the way, you don't have to do the brow thing for this look, but I did it just because I really wanted to sell the look and my brow hair was super dark, so I had to do that whole glue stick thing and glued them down and redid them. So I was very committed to this look, but you don't have to. You can totally work with your own brow color if you're fine with that. Anyway, taking my MAC paint pot in soft ochre, I'm applying this generously all over my entire lid space and just making sure to really get into the corners of our eye sockets and also just up towards the very edge of our brow. Then I am taking a matte white ivory shade and again just being generous and applying that all over our entire lid space, nothing too crazy here. Then I'm going to be taking my Bobbi Brown eye blender brush and picking up a very cool tone matte brown taupey color and just making sure to buff that into the crease. Again, you don't have to be super neat about this because the tape is going to do all of the hard work for us, but just to make sure we have a really nice blend. I am trying to aim this as close to my upper crease area as possible just to mimic a larger eye shape like Gaga's. Then I am taking a very champagne glistening metallic color and just with my finger pressing that right onto the ball of my eye. She has this wet look in this photograph that I was using for reference, so I kind of wanted to mimic that as much as possible, and so I decided to go ahead and go with a more metallic shadow. But what you could do if you have that eye gloss that I know like NYX sells it and stuff, that'd be a really cool addition to add onto this look, and again it will probably sell it even more. Then picking up a very dark matte brown shadow, I am taking a real hair pencil brush and just running this first alongside the very base of our tape edge and then working our way up towards the tail of the brow and creating a literal triangle shape right on the edges of our eyes. So this is probably the most fierce part of this look, is this triangular eye shape. And again, it's just to really be an exaggerated cat eye, and you don't want to aim this all the way across the entire lash line. I kind of stopped mine midway through just to have a really elongated and accentuated eye shape. Once that's blended in, you're going to remove the pieces of scotch tape, so be very careful as to not hurt yourself. And voila, you have these perfect wings. Don't mind my face. Then we're going to be starting off with our skin. I am first taking the Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. Her skin in this series is literally so flawless, so in order to mimic that as much as possible, I'm going to be filling in and diminishing the appearance of our pores and just really making sure to work this nice and evenly onto the areas where I feel like I have larger pores, such as the T-zone and especially on my cheek. Once that is on, we're going to begin contouring. I am using my Anastasia Cream Contour Kit in the fair shades, and I'm first taking the shade Mink, which is the darkest contour shade in this kit, and running this alongside our natural contour, but instead of pointing it towards our corner of the mouth like how we usually do, I'm actually going to be dragging this downward, almost going parallel to our laugh lines just to mimic Gaga's face shape and structure as close as possible, and also making sure to hit this on our jawline and our forehead as well. Then using that same contour shade, I'm also going to be contouring my nose and just running this alongside the edges of my nose or the sides of it and not creating a visual break on the center like how I usually do because Gaga's nose runs much longer than mine does. So just to mimic that, we're going to keep the nose looking like it's running longer instead of creating that visual break. Again, making sure to touch the contour shades. I actually mixed in a little bit of fawn into this for the forehead contour. And then to accentuate our cheekbones, I'm picking up a little bit of soft light and then just running this along the bottom of the cheekbone contour, then touching this onto the center of the forehead to add that little bit of extra brightness, and then down the bridge of our nose. Also taking that same shade and applying it right above the contour shade. Once the contour is on, I am then taking my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in Bone. This is pretty much the lightest color foundation that I own, and even though it's a little bit too light for my skin tone, it does mimic Gaga's skin tone, so we're just going to kind of pale ourselves out a little bit. And I'm making sure to blend this in with a damp beauty blender. So I had posted a Snapchat tutorial a couple days ago, and someone had asked me why I was using these contour creams underneath my foundation as opposed to over my foundation like how you normally see. And the answer for that, and kind of why I did this here too, is because these contour shades are so good at mimicking natural shadows that they actually apply super gray and cool tone. And when I had tried to apply this over my foundation, it just literally looked gray. So I find that these shades work best underneath foundation and it looks so natural. And then you're gonna see here that once my foundation is all blended out, you're still gonna be able to see the contour coming through, but again, in a much more natural way, which is actually what I really love about these cream contours. It just provides a much more natural finish than what you find with warmer contour shades that you can use over your foundation. So that's just my reasoning for that. Also with this foundation, make sure to drag this along the neck. I especially had to do this just to make sure that the color blended in well with my skin tone. But if you are actually this light, then you shouldn't have any problems with this. Then taking my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15, I'm just going to be accentuating the highlight underneath my eye area. Gaga has this perfect highlight and contour in this series, so I'm trying to mimic this as much as possible. And I'm placing this down the bridge of my nose and center of my forehead as well, and blending it out with the same damp beauty blender. I'm not going to be baking for this tutorial, but I am packing on some of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder on to the bottom of my eye area with a large powder brush. But if you are going to be wearing this look for Halloween, you're going to be out for quite a while and you have oily skin, then I highly suggest to bake. Don't mind me singing here, completely ignore that. I think I was singing along something with my brother. But anyway, so yeah, do bake if you are going to be wearing this look out for a Halloween party or whatever and you want it to last much longer. Then to bronze up a little bit, I am taking my Benefit Hoola bronzer onto a Real Techniques multitask brush and making sure to touch this especially along the forehead area just so we don't lose dimension, and also making sure to touch this along our cheekbone area and down the jawline. This bronzer is the best bronzer for fair skin that I have used by far. I highly recommend this product if you are fair like me. It just goes on much cooler than most bronzers and it blends out like butter. Then to deepen our contour just a little bit, I'm taking the Anastasia contour powder in Fawn and just making sure to run that along our cheekbone contour, again just to accentuate it and hollow it out to mimic Gaga's skinny face. Then for highlight, I'm taking the Balm Maryloumanizer onto my finger and then just running this along the bridge of my nose. I did put on the most highlight onto the bridge of my nose because she does have this perfect highlight just on the tip of her nose and she does look very glistening. Then just taking a little bit and on a fan brush running this along the tops of my cheekbones. Then to really mimic that dewy look she has going on, I am literally bathing in MAC Fix Plus spray. Trust me, it looks like a lot, I know, but once it's all dry, it just works out so beautifully and it looks really perfect and mimics her dewy skin really, really well. So trust me, it won't look like this. You won't look sweaty, you'll just look nice and dewy. See? It's all dry now. Then I'm going to be taking my NYX lip liner. This is in the shade, ooh, what is this? This is the color Black Brown, and I'm just going to be lining my lips as normal and as usual. And then for lip color, I am taking a Milani matte lipstick. This is in the shade Confident. It's just your true red matte lipstick. And then taking a lip brush and blending in the lip liner into the lipstick to create a nice ombre effect. She has these beautiful dark red cherry lips in the picture that I was using for reference. So I'm just making sure to kind of mimic that as close as possible. And then topping it off with a gloss is the Anastasia Black Cherry Lip Gloss. Then to finish off the eye look, I'm taking my MAC 212 brush and dipping into that dark brown we had used for our wing and just running this along our bottom lashes connecting to the back of the wing and not running this all the way to the tear duct. Be sure to stop this about 3/4 of the way, again to mimic Gaga's eye shape, and that's also where her shadow does stop. Then picking up that nice matte taupe color and really making sure to blend it out and buff it out. Her look is so effortlessly done, so we want to mimic that as close as possible, not making it too structural. And then taking a little bit of a peachy light tone matte shade and just running that along the tear duct area where we left blank. There's no falsies for this look, surprisingly. She just has her natural lashes but with a nice coat of mascara, so I'm just putting on any mascara onto your top and bottom lashes. And then to blank out the redness in my waterline, I am using my NARS Rue Bonaparte Larger Than Life eye pencil. Then just taking some fake blood. This is just some blood that I bought at the local Halloween store. You can use lipstick or lip gloss for this if you want to. I was just being fancy and decided to buy some fake blood for this and applying this almost like if it's running down the side of our mouth And then just to deepen up the color, because this was a little too bright for me, it wasn't really like believable, I'm just taking some matte liquid lipstick in a very dark red shade. So not only will this deepen up the color, but it also will dry to make sure that this stays on for a long time as well. After that, you're done with this look. Next, to just add on the costume. So here is the completed look. Please do not laugh too much at my wig. I just bought whatever wig I could find at the Halloween store. If you really want to go all out, you can buy a nice, fancy, good quality platinum wig. I just was using what I could get my hands on. And everything else is either from my closet or from the Halloween store. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I don't know if I'm going to squeeze out one more Halloween look. I may or may not, just depending on if I can, but I kind of want to get back to regular beauty tutorials. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, if you guys like this look, please give it a nice big thumbs up, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.